Jessica Hill, and welcome to my storybook. Last Saturday, I had read chapter 5 and chapter 6 of this book, and this part 3. Today's part 4. I'll be reading chapter 7 and chapter 8 in this book called Little Rhino. Here I begin these two chapters, 78. Chapter 7. Let's celebrate. Grandpa James arrived with CJ just before practice ended. Rhino was glad to see them. We'll go to one miss to celebrate the first practice, Grandpa said. Sounds good. Rhino nodded. He was always ready for pizza, and Woman's had the best in town. Grandpa started to talk with Coach Ray for a few minutes. CJ asked Rhino how practice had gone. I hit a double, Rhino said. A double? Huh. That's great, CJ said. Good team. I think it's a good team. I think so, Ronald replied. It all seems good except for one teammate. You don't sound very exasperated, CJ said. Was there a problem? Ronald shook his head. No problems. It's all good. Grandpa jogging over. The coach is a nice man, he said. He sure is, Ronald agreed. They were the last one to leave the field. Other players' parents had picked them all up. But as players' parents had picked them all up, but as Grandpa James poured out of the parking lot, Ronald saw Dylan walk by himself up the hill. Is he on your team? Grandpa asked. Yes. Should we offer him a ride? No way, Ronald said sharply. CJ turned to look at Ronald. He grunted. I guess not, CJ said. He's the problem. He's the problem? Ronald looked down and scored. He lives nearby, he said. So he doesn't know why. But Ronald didn't really know where Dylan lived. Actually, he didn't really know anything about Dylan. He did know that he wanted nothing to do with the bully. There was no way Ronald would invite Dylan into Grandpa James' car after how he acted at practice. They took a boat. They took a boot by the front window and ordered two pizzas and three salads. Ronald loved the smells coming from the pizza crust and garlic and tomato sauce. His mouth was watering. I'm starving. I can eat an entire pizza in 5 minutes, he said. During practice, he hadn't realized how hungry he was. Excited day, Grandpa said. He picked up his water glass and held it out. Here's to little Ronald's first day as a real baseball player. They gently clocking their glasses together as toast. Soon they dug into the pizza. Ronald was on his second slice when CJ spoke up. So, who is that kid? CJ asked. Ronald knew which kid CJ meant. Down on Ronald mumbled, he's a pain. I seen him around, CJ said. He's always by himself. Doesn't he have any friends? Ronald wasn't sure. He sure Dylan had a few friends somewhere, but he couldn't think of any. He picks on everybody. Ronald said, I don't know why anyone would want to be his friend. You can just ignore him, CJ said. He's hard to ignore, Ronald replied. He's always saying things at school or at practice. He made me mad when I was batting. You have to tune that out, Grandpa said. Concentrate on the pistol. Concentrate on the pistol. There will always be people trying to distract you or intimidate you with you batting. Some people all pull sports, CJ said. I had to deal with that too. How did you do it? Ronald asked. Like Grandpa said, you tune out. CJ smiled. The best way to shut them up is to get a hit. Ronald nodded. Hitting that double had helped, but Dylan had been just as mean after. There's one other thing to remember, CJ said. Sometimes you can turn an enemy into a friend. It is easy, but I've done it. Some kids just don't know how to start. Ronald looked at the piece of crust in his hand. He didn't want to be friends with Dylan. Why should he ever try? Do you know what position you'll be playing? Grandpa asked. Not yet, Ronald said. I did pretty well in the cap in the center field. Then coach had me try third base. I didn't like that very much. At your age, you should try all the positions, Grandpa said. You now know which one will suit you. The coach will figure it out what you do best. CJ said, you got a strong one, so he might have you at third base. I hope not. It was a long drive from third base to first. Plus, you had to fill some hot grounders. I like the outfield, he said. He worked centrally and made some errors at third base. Dylan would hone him about that. You need a strong arm out in a center field too. The number one rule is to have fun, Grandpa said. Number two is to play hard and learn the game. Number three is to ignore Dylan. Ronald thought. That would be the toughest rule of all. CJ slipped his arm towards Ronald and brought his fist against his brother's hand. Hanging now, he said. Be yourself. Who else could Ronald be? He wasn't sure what CJ meant, but he felt a lot better anyway. Chapter 8. It was most cooler during the Mustangs' next practice season. A light rain fell on and off. They walked on fielding grinders, and making excellent throws. Then Coach Ray called everyone to the dugout. We have a practice game scheduled for Saturday, Coach said. It won't count in the league standings, but it will be like a real game. 6 innings, 3 strikes, and you're out. Umpires. Ronald felt a thrill. He's been waiting for this. Do we get uniforms? Cooper asked. We sure do, Coach said. Jerseys, pants, and socks. We'll hand them out after practice. Coach opened a box that was sitting on the dugout bench. Here's something we can use right now, he said. He left some blue baseball caps from the box. Each one had a big white M above the brim. Wow, Warner said as he placed the cap on his head. He had a wide grin. We spend the rest of practice in a real game situation, Coach said. That will help us get ready for Saturday. Coach Ray sent Cooper to the pistol's mom, down and put on the catcher's bats and other gear and set up behind the plate. Then assistant coach stood behind Dale and asked the umpire, let's start you in center, Coach Ray said to Rhino. Rhino grabbed his glove and sprinted to the outfield. He jumped over second base, sending balls splattering onto his legs. He didn't care. He smiled at Bella, who was in right field. I hope they hit to me every time, Rhino thought. The first batter did just that. Cooper's pitch came in high in hand, and the ball connected. The ball scored to the gap between right field and center. Rhino raced toward it. He followed the ball as it fell towards the ground. Could he reach it? in time. Rhino stretched him. The ball was out of reach. He drove he dove towards it. He dove towards it. He felt the ball hit his glove as he rolled in the wet grass. Did he have it? Yes. The ball was firmly in the retina of the glove. Coach Wade shouted, "Great play." One of his teammates cheered. Warner tossed the ball back to the infield. He picked up his cap, which had fell off when he drove. Then he rubbed his wet hands on his shirt and jogging them back to his position. Warner let out a deep breath. That was a great start. He was ready for more. The next two battlers did not hit the ball out of the field and out of the infield. Warner bounced on his toes to stay ready. Then two more battlers struck out. Coach Wade turned and waving his arm. "Let's bring Rhino and Cooper in." He called. He spent two players to take their places. Rhino was excellent after that great catch he had made. He was ready to hit a home run. He picked up a bat and ran as another boy stepping up to bat. Dinosaur, whatever. Cooper said with a smile. Rhino laughed. He pointed to his shirt, which was wet from the driving catch. "It's swamping out there. Great conditions for duck-barrel dinos." Cooper said, "These cats make us look like them." Rhino nodded. The bills of the caps stuck out like the bakes of the duck bills. "They're like that wet grass," he said. "Watch out for T-Rats," Cooper said. "They prey on the duckbills." Soon it was Rhino's turn on to bat. He was feeling great as he strode to the batter's box. He forgot about Dylan. He was squatting behind the plate in a face mask and shades protection. "Luckily, cats," Dylan whispered. "You'll never do that again." Ignoring him, Rhino thought. That's what CJ had told him. I bet he wouldn't have been able to make that catch in the outfield, Rhino thought. The first pitch looked too low to Rhino. He watched it go by. "Strike," called the umpire. Rhino dug his foot into the dirt. He contacted him on the pitch. He smacked this one right over the fence. "Easy out," Dallin called. "He's afraid to swing." Could Dallin be any more ignoring? Wanda was not afraid to swing. He grabbed the bat tighter. He took a powerful cut at the pitch. The ball was high and outside. "Strike two," says the umpire. Dallin laughed. "You're choking it," he whispered. "Can't take the pressure." "Shut up, you bully," Warner thought, but he didn't say it out loud. Warner connected with the next pitch, but the ball rolled behind third base. "Foul ball," called the umpire. Warner blew out his breath. His hands struck a little. He hadn't hit that ball, certainly. This one, he thought. The pitcher threw a fast one. "Swing, better," Dylan blunt. Warner hesitated. The pitch was coming straight down the middle, but Dylan's words shook him. He swung too late. The ball whistled past. "Strike three," said the umpire. Warner's eyes stung. He stared at the pitcher. "Clear out," Dylan said. "Let's get a real battle in here." "That's enough of that," the assistant coach said. "Take off the gear, Dylan. You're done for the day." Warner walked back to the dugout and sat on the bench. He barely paid attention as Cooper hit a single right up the middle. After practice, Coach handed out the rest of the equipment. "Great job today," he said to Rhino as he gave him a blue jersey with the number 6. You made the best catch of the day. We'll start you in the center field on Saturday. That made Rhino feel confident. He knew he couldn't. He knew he could hit the ball. Striking out was part of the game. And on Saturday, Dylan wouldn't be the castle when Rhino was batting. They were teammates, even though it didn't seem like that. Teammates wasn't supposed to root against each other. Bella, Cooper, and some other were putting on the New jerseys. Rhino carefully folded his. He wanted to put it on, but he waited until he was home. He didn't want he didn't want it to get wet on Molly, not let. The jersey would be clean and new for Saturday, and Ronald would show them all that he wasn't just a great fielder. He hit the ball every time. Just connect, he thought. I showed them that I am. I'll show them that I am an awesome hitter. That will be the end of this book, of this chapter 7 and chapter 8 in this book called Little Ronald. Next time, I'll be reading chapter 9 and chapter 10 of this book. Until then, I'm Joseph Kerr. Had a great time, and I'll see you next time. Be blessed.